Hi, my name is Jane, and today you're in my kitchen, and I'm going to show you how to make this scrumptious apple pie. 2 cups of flour, just the white plain flour. You'll need 1 cup of lard. This is going to make the best, fluffiest crust, and you'll need a bowl of ice water. And for the apples, you will need 1/2 a cup of sugar, 1/4 a cup of flour, and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay, so next I'm going to show you about the preparation of the apples. I've done about 5 apples cut up in this bowl into thin slices, and then I'm going to take my sugar, flour, and cinnamon mixture, and I'm going to put that on the apples, and I'm going to stir that in to coat. The flour is going to help thicken the apples as they cook, so there won't be too much runny juice, and of course the cinnamon's going to give it a really nice flavor. And when that's all coated, you've got that step finished. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to make the pie crust. So you'll need a large bowl, and you'll need 2 cups of your flour, and you want to put that in the bowl. And then you're going to want to add your lard, which you can break up into pieces. It kind of helps to integrate it a little bit easier into your flour. And this part is going to take a while. You have to be patient, because what you need to do is make sure all the lard is evenly integrated into the flour. I'll show you at the end here, but you're going to end up with little crumbly bits of lard all covered with flour, but they're all going to look uniform. What we're going to do is we're going to add a teaspoon at a time of some water from our bowl of ice cubes here. You need to have the cold water, and what you're going to do is sprinkle it onto the dough, and then with your hands you're just going to fluff it. You're not really going to try to make it stick together yet at this point. So just with your hands, just kind of fluff that dough a little bit and get that water spread around. And so this is my tablespoon number 2. I think I said tablespoon, or teaspoon at first, but I mean tablespoon. So then you're going to fluff it some more. You're probably going to need about 3 to 6 tablespoons till the dough starts really sticking together and you're ready to form it into a ball. So just keep it nice and light. Don't start squeezing and kneading it together. You want it to be plenty moist, and not too dry. So there's my 3rd tablespoon, and again, I can kind of feel, and you know, as you get used to this, you're gonna get the feel of the dough, and you're gonna feel when it's sort of ready to be combined. So this will take a little bit of practice with several pies, obviously, and I think I'm going to add just maybe another 1/2 a tablespoon onto that. It's starting to feel like it's about ready to be formed into a ball. So I'm going to start forming it into my ball, and make sure you get all the pieces together. And so right there is our ball of dough, and then we're going to go on to the next step here in just a second. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I've got a towel with very little nap to it, so it's like a tea towel. That's the best thing to use for this. And so you're going to want to put some flour on the top of your tea towel, and then you're going to take your dough and you're going to break it in 2, and we're going to start kind of flattening that just a bit in a circle on the tea towel, and maybe a little bit more flour on the top. And this part, just be patient. Get your rolling pin and put a little flour on your rolling pin as well. And so what you're going to do is start from the middle and roll out. Start from the middle, roll out the other way. Start from the middle, roll out to the right. Start from the middle, roll out to the left, and then we're going to flip it. And so then, again, start from the middle, roll up, start from the middle, roll down, start from the middle, roll right, and then left. And do that as many times as you need to feel like you've got a big enough piece to put in the bottom of your pan. Don't worry if it might get some little breaks in it. You can always patch those if you need to. Okay, so now we've got our bottom crust and we've got our pie pan. This is, I think, about an 8-inch pie pan. So what you're going to do is fold your dough up and then grasp it and put it on the top of your pan and fold it out, and then just kind of make the adjustments that you need to fit it down in there. And you see I've got a little crinkle here, but you can just, you know, kind of work that in. And the same with the sides if it's a little crooked or whatever. I'm not a perfectionist, some people might be, so if you want to, you know, work on your skills and how your pie is going to work out, you can work that out as you learn to make one. So now you can set this off to the side, and I'm going to do the top, and then I'll come back to you after I do the top. Got the top crust rolled out, so we're going to go ahead and put the apples into the bottom crust. Just kind of get them in there, and I usually kind of pack them down, make sure they're good and even in there, so you maybe don't have any pockets as the apples bake down, because they will bake down quite a bit. Okay, so that's pretty good. So then what we're going to do is, I usually take maybe a tablespoon of butter and put little dots of butter on the top. This just adds to the delicious flavor of the pie after it's all done. Okay, so now we're ready for the top of the pie crust, and again, you just kind of fit that over the top. And then take a knife or just, you know, the end of some kind of implement. I've got a fork right now, and just kind of trim off the edges. You can you're trimming along the glass dish is basically what you're doing. So you're trimming all along there and getting the extra pie crust off. And you can see I've got a couple of little, you know, it's not perfect here, but you know, it'll taste good anyway. So then you're going to roll under, and again, you can look online for different ways to do this. I always just roll under the edge of the pie crust and kind of squeeze it together or crimp it together with my fingers to make sure it seals. If it leaks a little bit in the oven, it doesn't matter. I usually put a tray under my pie on the next shelf down, so that if some of the apple juice does leak out in baking, you're not going to really do too much to your oven. So that's kind of, you know, how I do the edges. Again, I'm going to be the first one to say I don't make perfect pies, but they taste good. So then you put some holes in it for the steam to escape, and again, some people get real fancy. I just kind of do the same thing every time, actually. And so there is the pie, ready to put into the oven. I put it in at about 180 degrees, and check it in about 45 minutes and see that it's getting nice and golden brown. We'll check that later and see that the apple is bubbling out. One thing I also do is I might add a little bit of sugar on the top, and it gives it a nice, I don't know, it looks nice and finished when it has sugar on the top, and gives it a little extra flavor as well. Okay, so we're going to pop that in and we'll come back to you later. So here's our finished apple pie. It took about 50 minutes to bake, and you can see the steam that's coming out of it, and it's got a nice golden brown crust. And so I hope you try the recipe and enjoy this with ice cream, custard, or just some heavy cream on the top.